Animal Farm. Animal Farm is set in an alternate world where animals are sentient, and in it, there is a farm where the animals overthrow their neglectful human masters and attempt to build a communist utopia for themselves before succumbing to the same faults that caused their oppression in the first place. It's also a fairy tale. Okay, a little bit of an over-summarization, but it's fairly close. I'll explain later. The author, George Orwell, was incredibly anti-authoritarian. He participated in the Spanish Civil War on the side of the Spanish Second Republic, but was nearly killed by Stalinist Russia for working with a Trotskyist organization. Trotsky was one of Stalin's political enemies. He saw firsthand that Stalinist Russia was far more cruel and oppressive than the common people realized, and sought to dismantle the romanticized views that the working class had about communism, but also warn against any form of authoritarianism and explain the way totalitarian governments can form. In this way, George Orwell uses Animal Farm to tell us that totalitarianistic governments gain and hold power using subversion, an imbalance of ability and influence over the people they govern, and fears that they can create or bend to their benefit. The story follows the animals of Manor Farm as they rebel against their human owners and establish their own government in the form of Animal Farm. It begins with a speech by an old and dying pig named Old Major, who has a vision of a world where animals are freed of humans and in harmony with each other. Work is done for the benefit of all, and every animal is an equal. It takes some time, but eventually the animals seize the opportunity to oust Mr. Manor, their owner, and his family from the farm. 7 commandments are created and hung above a barn door as rules for their new nation and reminders of their responsibilities after their victory over the humans. They gather their first harvest and food is plentiful. 2 pigs named Snowball and Napoleon take the lead in organizing the farm, essentially forming political parties. Snowball creates many different organizations and many plans for the future of Animal Farm, while Napoleon educates the youth. The 2 debate endlessly over what should be done for the future. A fairly short list of events is helpful for the rest of the major events. First, the lesser animals are unable to learn all of the 7 commandments. It is shortened to 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Second, the humans return and try to reclaim Manor Farm from the animals, but are beaten off, notably by Snowball, who is given a medal and commendation afterwards. Third, Snowball plans to build a windmill to power Animal Farm, but Napoleon opposes the plan and debates. Snowball is chased off by Napoleon's honor guard of dogs that he has raised, and Napoleon becomes the sole leader of Animal Farm. Fourth, the windmill suffers setbacks, and Snowball is blamed for the difficulties. Fifth, the 7 commandments are changed just slightly. The animals are suspicious, but are convinced nothing had actually changed. Sixth, Snowball's heroic contribution to the first battle between the humans and Animal Farm is rewritten as being cowardly, instead hiding in the barn while the fighting is occurring. 7. Napoleon forces the animals to confess to aiding Snowball and his traitors, and has each animal that confesses killed by his dogs. Throughout the book, Napoleon attempts to twist events to his benefit and the benefit of the pigs. Early on, Napoleon steals milk from the animals to feed to his pigs. The pigs defend their actions by saying that they are in need of the milk more because they are brain animals. They don't like the milk, but they need it for the good of the farm and attempt to distort events and create a beneficial image for themselves. They will do this constantly in the story. The 2 biggest cases involve Snowball and the 7 commandments. In the beginning, the humans attack Animal Farm in the first battle of the cow pens. The humans have guns, but the animals valiantly charge across the yard to attack the humans. They are led by Snowball, who is described as running off several on his own. For this, he is granted a medal and a commendation ceremony. However, after Snowball is chased off by Napoleon's dogs, Napoleon starts to twist the story. Years after the battle, he tells the animals that Snowball was instead a coward and hiding while the battle was going on. The animals are eventually forced to accept this subverted truth as they trust Napoleon and are pushed to not trust their own memories. As he does this, he also has the 7 commandments changed slightly, piece by piece, slowly justifying further luxuries for the pigs and several blatant misuses of authority. Each of these changes slowly twists the principles that Animal Farm was built on into a system built solely for the pigs' benefit. Part of the reason the pigs are able to subvert truths to their benefit is because they are more intelligent than the other animals and are able to use this to overrule the others' beliefs. Only the pigs, dogs, and possibly Benjamin the donkey are able to read and write proficiently. The other animals are barely able to learn the letters, let alone write, leading to the somewhat reasonable decision that the pigs should take the helm on any major decisions that are made. However, this imbalance of abilities is misused almost immediately. After the commandments are created, it is found that many of the lesser animals are unable to memorize them, so it is shortened to the phrase 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. Napoleon uses this line to effectively ruin any debate between him and Snowball by prompting the sheep to chant it for minutes at a time. More severely, Napoleon abuses the poor memory of these animals to convince them that they simply forgot parts of the commandments when they are being rewritten, and that Snowball was a coward. He also uses his position as de facto ruler of Animal Farm to influence and overpower the other animals' beliefs, making them utterly convinced that Napoleon is always right. He does this after Snowball is removed from the farm when he tells him to begin building the windmill, telling him that it was always his intention to build the windmill, but Snowball had stolen his plans for the building and claimed them as his own. In essence, the poor memory and intelligence, and the animal's inability to contest claims made by the leader, results in the pigs gradually gaining full control over the farm and their lives. One of the final tools that Napoleon uses to control the animals is fear. Whenever he needs to make a point, he travels with an entourage of his dogs as enforcers. They growl and snarl quietly to intimidate the animals, encouraging them to agree to what he says. Later, a storm causes their half-built windmill to collapse. Napoleon blames it on Snowball, saying that he is sabotaging Animal Farm to get revenge on him. Rumors are circulated, and soon the animals become paranoid, believing that every bad thing that happens is the fault of Snowball. He then exploits this paranoia by claiming that Snowball is working with a man named Frederick, that this was Jones's plan the whole time, and that Snowball actually helped the humans in the first battle of the cowpens. He uses their fear of Snowball to create a narrative that further vilifies Snowball and increases their trust in him. Days afterwards, he summons the animals to the barn and has his dogs drag out several pigs who had spoken out against him and throw them at his feet. He asks them to confess their crimes, and in their terror, they say that they had been working for Snowballs and Jones the whole time. The dogs immediately kill them, and Napoleon asks for other confessions, sending the animals into a frenzy, where they confess to crimes major and minor, and each in turn is killed by the dogs. All of the animals are stunned by this, but no one says a word about it after, fearing that a dog or pig might hear them. Napoleon uses his purge to prevent anyone from speaking out, to remove animals that opposed him in the past, and to display that he had ultimate power, even if it isn't framed as such. The ending has Napoleon officially renouncing the rebellious traits of Animal Farm. Only one of the 7 commandments remains on the wall, that being, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Animal Farm becomes Manor Farm again, and several other changes. The pigs begin to walk upright and carry whips with them. They teach the sheep to chant, 4 legs good, 2 legs better, and openly welcome several humans into the farm for dinner and cards. Napoleon's utilization of subversive language, the imbalance of ability and influence amongst the animals, and fear had given him full control over the animals of Animal Farm. The subversive arguments kept anyone from realizing the damage he was doing. The pigs are able to convince the other animals that what they are doing is perfectly reasonable, as they are unable to contradict the claims due to their lack of intelligence and individual influence. And finally, the fear brought on by Napoleon's enforcers prevents the animals from sharing their doubts or speaking out against him. He has achieved total power over the animals, and Orwell's warning to his audience is that totalitarian governments will not take power by brute force, but will instead corrupt the system from within with gradual and subversive actions.
beasts of England, beasts of Ireland, beasts of fairyland and claim. Hearken to my cheerful tide of the golden future time. Soon the land is coming, Tyrant shall be overthrown, and the fruitful fields of England shall be trodden by beasts alone. Rain shall vanish from our noses, and the hornets from our back. Living blood shall rise forever, through the winds no more shall cry. Riches more than mine can picture, we and bully all to head. Glover beans and